Hi, I'm Vern Frykholm here at Mount Rushmore. And as you know, I've been interviewing the other presidents that appear there on the monument there. And not really going to talk to them in their character, but more what it's like about doing the different presidents. And each one has different experience as well as similar experience. So we have Tom Pitz here. He does Thomas Jefferson. And so, Tom, got a few questions. Initially, just when did you start doing Jefferson?
1987.
Okay, so that's 24 years.
Correct.
Wow, okay. Why did you want to do Jefferson?
I actually fell into it.
Okay.
I work in a high school, and there's a rule in a high school on the last day of school that those kids better stay out of the way of those teachers because they're going out that door on summer break. Anyway, I was in the teacher's lounge after a long year, and somebody came in there and said, would you participate in a play? And I said, no, I don't do plays. I was kicked out. I couldn't even be a shepherd in the Christmas pageant. So I said no. And then they said, well, we're going to rehearse it, and it will be held at Montpelier. And if you are from the Piedmont of Virginia, Montpelier is the home of James Madison.
Yes.
And the view is spectacular. So I said yes. And because I was a little taller than most of the other people, I had red hair, so they said, you be Jefferson. I did it. I wasn't any star. I thought it was all over, so I didn't pay much attention. And then about a month later, I get a call, and they said from what's called the Boar's Head Inn, would you come and entertain the Pillsbury Corporation? And I said, I'm not certain I can do that. And they said, we'll pay you. And I said, I'll be there. I was scared to death.
Okay.
I went in, I was very nervous, and some kind man said, I tell you what, rather than do this before dinner, come back after dinner, after everybody's had a drink or two, and we'll have a good time. And then I convinced myself I can do this because I don't know any of these people and I won't take their money. And I went in, and somebody asked me, and they had a toddy or two. They said, one of my friends at General Mills tells me that you wrote the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And I said, well, obviously, sir, I did have a hand in the Declaration, but I did not write the Constitution, and your General Mills must be a Tory. At which point all of the Pillsbury people thought that was very funny.
So where do you typically portray Jefferson?
Around the Charlottesville area, Washington, D.C. I have traveled to Denver and Boston, gone to Philadelphia, gone down to Edenton, North Carolina, Kansas City. So I've traveled a bit and always looking for more.
What are your favorite groups to portray Jefferson?
4th through 7th graders. They're the most fun.
Okay.
They are just so interested in learning, and they are little sponges, and they have at least enough background to know who you are, General Washington. And so they have some basic concepts, and that's all I need. And unlike secondary students, they don't know everything, and they're willing to learn.
If you were going to advise people what one or two books about Jefferson would be good for them to read, what might you suggest?
Well, as you probably know, he's a subject of great controversy, particularly in this day and age.
Yes.
And that has not changed since 1802.
Oh, okay.
Oh, not at all. The best, probably 3 books for a balance of the views of Jefferson. If you want to get inside his position and his mindset, it would be Dumas Malone's The Life of Jefferson and His Times, a 6-volume series.
Oh, wow.
It is politically not correct these days because it is taking up his position, not modern perspective. The other book I would recommend is John Meacham's book. I'm sorry, I can't even remember it, but it's John Meacham's biography of Jefferson. And the last one would be by Peter Ornoff and Annette Gordon Reed, who take the position of more modern political correctness. They're very sophisticated, they're very knowledgeable, and they have the title of their book is The Most Blessed of Patriarchs.
When you're giving a presentation and run into presentism, my understanding when 250 years later we judge those before us by today's values and understandings, is there anything that you use as an example showing people where their present mindset is faulty when judging people of 250 years before?
Well, it's a tough question on Jefferson's case because he was an object of both adoration and derision during his time for all of the reasons we know, and for honestly many reasons modern people don't know, because while we focus on the slavery issue, he was extremely controversial on a number of issues. From my perspective as a reenactor, I'm grateful that they don't know the extra words. But the slavery issue will come up consistently, more so toward the east as opposed to in the Midwest or in the West. But you have to be able to answer, and he has written so significantly, and his words are so powerful that while he he fails in living up to the principles, he also was living in a time, and I try to convey it as best I can, what it was like to live when your entire economic life was based upon a principle that he knew was going to fail, and he knew it.
Wow. And what he must have been experiencing inside, the two different emotions, and along with Washington, is lifelong tension.